Hello. So I have another Reiki story that I want to share. This one just happened like a few days ago. Um, so it's really funny. It's something that never happened to me before. Like, I actually saw like something on someone's body rather than just usually I'll just see like a picture in my mind's eye. Um, so this was really different for me and really interesting, and I wanted to share. So, I don't know. A lot of people probably don't know that Reiki practitioners, a lot of Reiki practitioners anyway, I don't know if all of us do, but a lot of Reiki practitioners get intuitive hits about the person that they're doing Reiki on to tell them what's wrong, with what the person needs healing for, what's wrong with them. And so, I've gotten those. Sometimes they come through like as soon as a person agrees to let me do Reiki on them, like in the future. Sometimes I'll start getting intuitive hits on them. Then sometimes I don't, and sometimes I do. Sometimes I've actually been finding that I've been getting like hits on somebody that this is weird. I'll be getting like intuitive hits about a certain health issue, but I don't know who it's about, and sometimes I'll be getting these messages about a certain issue for like months, and I won't know who it's about until that person says something to me, and I'll be like, oh, that's okay. These messages were about this person. It's really funny. But anyway, so with this guy, one of my neighbors, I was getting messages about, I kept getting all these messages about, someone's liver was like overloaded. And, I know like more than one person who has that issue. Everybody could use a good liver cleanse, to be honest, but, so this neighbor guy agreed for me to do Reiki on him, and so I think that happened over texting, and then we were talking outside. I was talking to him, and like inside of his lips and around his eyes, like the skin around his eyes and like the pink down there, and the top of his head all turned orange. And I mean, I'm just standing there talking to him, and I'm like, I've never seen anything like this before, but it was definitely orange. And I mean, the top of his, like around his eyes, it was kind of like on the skin around, it was kind of like yellowish orange, but like in the pink area, it was orange, and definitely orange on like the inside of his lips. And the top of his head, was like the orangish yellow, like around his eyes, except for on the very top, like in the very top, it was almost like glowing, like when there's a sunset and the sun is behind the clouds, and so like the edge of the cloud is like glowing because the sun is behind it. That's what the very top of his head looked like. It was so wild, and I couldn't believe it. I was like just trying to process, what am I seeing? And the only thing that I could think of right off the top of my head was that I was seeing his aura. But I mean, I've heard of people being able to see auras, but they're like, more known for being around. Well, I just thought I must be seeing his aura, and it's just kind of like, bleeding down onto his face because, the top of his head was glowing. So I thought it was his aura. Well, I didn't say anything to him at the moment because I wasn't quite sure what to say. I asked him later if I was looking at him funny, because I mean, I must have been, because I was just kind of like, oh. Okay, So anyway, I went inside and I actually first started looking up orange aura and reading about that. But then I was like, wait a minute, I better make sure that's what that was, because, it was just on his face, and it was, not just around his body like you think an aura would be. And I also use a pendulum as a divination tool. And so I asked with my pendulum, was I seeing his aura? And the answer was no. And so then I was like, well, what was it? And another thing, when I'm using my pendulum, just answers seem to come to me really easily, intuition. And I got it dawned on me. I was like, oh, okay, that's his liver. He's got he really needs to detox his liver really bad. Just how people get jaundiced, sometimes babies are jaundiced, or people who have certain illnesses get jaundice, which is yellowing of the skin, a slight yellow tinge to the skin and eye whites. So this was very, very extreme jaundice, I guess, kind of, in a sense, not exactly the same, but showing me he's really he needs to detox really bad. So I told him. He luckily is a guy who's I know to be pretty open to spiritual things, so I wasn't really scared to tell him. I told him, and and so a couple months before this, he had kind of asked me for advice on, he said that he wanted to lose weight, and he was asking me what I do to stay slim. And so I was telling him a little bit about what I do, and I mentioned celery juice. And during this conversation, his wife was standing by him, and she said that he had tried drinking celery juice before, and it made his blood pressure spike. And at the time, I was a little bit confused by that, and I thought, that seems weird, but I didn't really think much of it at that point. At that point, I wasn't going to be doing Reiki on him or anything, so I just kind of took it as was. He was just asking me for advice on, how to stay slim and healthy. And so that was the end of that at that time. Well, so after I saw his face turn orange, and at this point, mind you, I hadn't done any Reiki on him. He just had agreed to let me do Reiki on him. So, so after I saw his face turn orange, then I realized that it was his liver, and then I realized why the celery juice made his blood pressure spike, because celery juice flushes your liver. So I'm pretty sure what happened when he drank the celery juice is that it stirred some stuff up from his liver, and that's what made his blood pressure spike. And so I said that to him. He told me then, yes, that makes sense, because he did tell me that he's on medication for high blood pressure. So I encouraged him to go get some blood work done and, see if we can get some confirmation. I would love to have some confirmation. And he actually thought he had a doctor's appointment scheduled for a few days from that, which he went to the appointment and they didn't have him on the books. So he made another appointment for 3 weeks or something from now. So I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna try to start detoxing before then. I think he should. I don't think he should wait, but I don't know what he's gonna do. But I would really be interested to see what his liver levels are. But so anyway, also since then, I keep getting hints and nudges about how to liver detox. So I'm sharing that information with him, and anybody who I do Reiki on, if I will share whatever intuitive nudges I get about you, and not just while I'm doing Reiki on you, if I keep getting them, you know, for however long after, I'll keep sharing them with you. As I'm finding that is happening with some people, getting messages about them both before and after I've done Reiki on them. It's just really cool. It's kind of like I can do like a whole Reiki and health coaching thing. So anyway, I just wanted to share that really cool story. I love Reiki. Reiki is just so neat. It's just incredible. I love it. Okay, so I think that's all that I wanted to say in this one. So thank you for listening. Bye. See if I can get it to stop.